Big Z Reviews. Hi, my name is Brandon, but you can call me Big Z. And today I'm doing my third annual discussion about what my picks are for the Oscars. And let's just say this year is a little different because there have been a lot of shenanigans. So right off the bat, the producers in charge of this year's Oscars decided to float this thing called the popular movie category. Basically, hey, all you peons, you can have this award even though we don't think you're a real movie. Here, you're a superhero movie, have this award. And of course, everyone was like, what the hell? That's kind of gets rid of the whole idea of the awards. So the backtrack, like, okay, fine, we'll get rid of that, okay. And then they had the whole fiasco with Kevin Hart. And my opinion with the Kevin Hart stuff, I know it was like years ago, but he always said he would apologize, but he never really did back then. And I felt like a lot of the stuff he said they didn't feel like jokes as much as someone like James Gunn, where there are obviously jokes. But with him, it felt like that was what he was thinking, that he would beat the gay out of his son if he turned out to be gay or something, or if he did anything that was sissy. And it was really toxic stuff. Especially, so I understand why they wouldn't want him to be host. But then there's all this sort of shenanigans going on with that. And then now we're not going to have a host at all. So who knows what the hell this is going to actually be. And then you had the thing with the music, nominated music, original songs for the different movies. And that, it wasn't publicized as much, but it might be the worst of the whole bunch. Because they were originally only going to do 2 of the songs. And guess what? One of the songs was Lady Gaga. And thankfully, she's a great person, and she said, no, I'm not going to perform unless everyone performs. And I really have to give a lot of, give a lot of things to her, like, that's really great for her to do that because she didn't have to. But, after that, they caved because, of course, a lot of the commercials for the Oscars, they all say, oh, the first time performance with Lady Gaga. and then the co-star. So you knew that she had the power there and they had to kowtow to her. And I'm really glad they did. And then you have the final one, and that is, we decide we're gonna pass out 4 of the awards in the commercial breaks. And it just so happens that 2 of the awards are honestly one of the most important things in filmmaking: editing and cinematography. Like, no film has ever been made without editing and cinematography. And everywhere there's a big uproar about it. Everyone's side was so idiotic. Then finally, like, okay, we'll do them live like all the other awards, like they actually matter. And the funny thing to me is that a lot of times the smaller awards are the winners give some of the best speeches because this is their lives and they're behind the scenes people. They never get the moment in the spotlight, and you give it to them. It's really emotional and it's their life's work finally being recognized. And it's just so belittling to say, oh, we'll do it in the commercial break. Even if they tell them, oh, we are going to show them, we'll edit them down a little bit. And it's just such bullshit. I just find it so odd that whoever the producers are of this year's Oscars, they made so many bad mistakes and big mistakes, and all just to get a tighter show. But like even before they said they had to backtrack, they weren't going to get a 3-hour show. But if you want to shorten it, and I don't think you don't have to shorten it. Let's face it. If you aren't going to watch a 3.5 or 4-hour version of the Oscars, it doesn't matter if it's trimmed down to 3 hours. Those people are not going to watch it anyway. Like, the people that are going to watch it are movie lovers. The people that love the movie, that love this whole all the different categories and love seeing all the stars and seeing all the people coming out and honoring the best movies of the year. Like, I don't see the point of trying to. It's so hard to shorten it by ruining the actual Oscars, by ruining everything they stand for. And I mean, if you had to shorten it, there are ways you could do it without screwing up the whole thing. The two easiest things that come to mind for me are cut down on the montages. Like, so many times the montages are exactly the same and they go on forever. Shorten them up, or not do as many of them, or do something different for once instead of using all the same scenes. And then, if the biggest thing is that there's like at least probably 20 minutes of people walking from their seats to the stage. If you want to cut that down, have all the nominees come up on the stage behind the presenter, and then they can just walk forward when they win. That would cut down so much time. And it could create good moments too, because they could hug each other and congratulate the winner. I mean, some might be awkward, but I think that has a lot more things that could go right with it instead of everything that they chose to do, which all went horribly wrong. But now that I talked about that stuff, I'll get to what I actually think, and I'll talk about who I would have picked and who I think will win. And I have seen all of the big movies that are nominated. I haven't seen all of the documentary films, and I haven't seen the short films. The short films are really tough to find, especially where I am. And it's tougher to do it. But I've seen all the other, and two of the foreign language films are nowhere to be found. But all the other movies I have seen, and most of them I have reviewed. But let's start off, and unlike the Oscars, I'll start off at the biggest ones, I guess. For actor in a leading role, this is honestly a very weak category. It's the weakest it's been in years. I don't really think any of them are that great this year for the ones that they picked. I mean, there are a lot of better ones. I mean, but it's honestly, if I had to pick, if I would probably pick Viggo Mortensen, even though it's a little over the top. But then I would probably, a second would be like Bradley Cooper, Star is Born, and then Christian Bale, and then Rami Malek, and then William Dafoe. Because honestly, Rami Malek is just kind of like a wigs and teeth movie. He does well, but it's a little too much of a caricature. And William Dafoe, he as Van Gogh, I thought he did good, but I thought it just wasn't much there. And Bradley Cooper, I think I really liked him. I think he is I like him. I would put him up. He did really well in the movie. But honestly, I don't think that he will win. I have him as the second least likely to win. And I think that the person that they'll actually pick to win is Christian Bale in Vice. And it just kind of sucks. I mean, so much of that acting job was done by the makeup. And honestly, Christian Bale seems kind of like a douchebag. I don't know if he really deserves awards, but he's been winning most of them this award season, and he's probably going to take us home too. I think the second chance would be Viggo, and then Rami Malek, and then Bradley Cooper, and then William Dafoe. Again, Dafoe, I'm not even sure why he was nominated, honestly. The film didn't get any release, and I actually just watched it the other day, and it's a little bit messy of a film. And I mean, he does a good job with it, but there's not that much there. And for actor in a supporting role, this is another one of those supporting role worlds where it's honestly more of a leading role. Like from Mahershala Ali in Green Book, I think he's pretty much a lock to win. Because he was really good. He was probably the best part of Green Book. And, I mean, he is really the leading actor. I would have preferred him to win for the leading actor instead of Viggo. Because, I guess he is more of a supporting in their relationship because the movie is more focused on Viggo in Green Book. But I think, for the second chance, I think Sam Elliott, Star is Born, for what I would pick and for what might win, because he's more of a lifetime award if they could possibly go to him, although I doubt it. And he was really good in Star is Born. And Adam Driver is probably number 3 for both what I think and who they may pick. And then Richard Grant, Can You Forgive Me? I put him a little ahead, but I doubt they're going to award it to him. And Sam Rockwell's Vice, it's a really odd pick. He was barely in the movie. He was honestly on the screen for maybe a minute or two, Like, that's the whole idea of the film, is that, the vice president was in charge of the country, so he's not really in the film at all. So I don't know why they picked him instead of someone else they could have honored. And for actress in a leading role, I think it's two-horse race, and it's kind of funny because even in the Actors Guild Awards, there was a tie between Lady Gaga and Glenn Close, and I think it's between the two of them. Glenn Close, she is, the again might be a lifetime award sorta, and I just watched the movie recently, and she is very good in it. Like, it's an excellent performance. And Lady Gaga is amazing in the movie too. But I'm not sure if if people want to award her for like her first big performance, and that's like the popular choice, they may not want to go with that. So I think I would probably pick Lady Gaga ahead of her, but I think that I don't know. I think it might more go to the wife. Like the Glenn Close, I think might have a slightly better chance to win, but it's very close. And then for number 3, I'd probably pick Alicia Aparicio from Roma, but I doubt she's going to win. She's probably last in the runnings. And I think, the Melissa McCarthy, I would pick as last personally, but I think she's probably fourth. And then Olivia Colman is like in the middle of the pack. I don't think, but it's an odd movie with a favorite, because it's really like the 3 women share the roles. I don't know how they really separated that she was the lead and the other 2 were supporting, but that's how they chose. And she did good in it, but I don't think she really deserves an Oscar for it. By the way, I think the biggest snub for this category, Best Leading Actress, is Toni Collette for Hereditary. She really should have been in here instead of Melissa McCarthy, I think. That's the one I would have replaced her with. Because, I mean, she probably, I would give my favorite performance of the year, but no one even really acknowledged her for it, just because it's a genre film. But, oh well, what you gonna do? For actress in a supporting role, I think this one is pretty much a lock, and that's for Regina King in If Beale Street Could Talk. And I think, she gives an amazing performance, and I think that she really is tops out all the others. I think it's pretty clear that she should win, and she is going to win. But, for the second choice, I would have probably picked Emma Stone, and then after that, Rachel Weisz. It's tough. I think that they're kind of hurting each other, because they're both from The Favorite, and they both give really good performances, but I think they're kind of like almost canceling each other out. And then Amy Adams, I think she was good in Vice, but again, I don't know. I don't know if she deserves it. She was one of my favorite actresses, but I don't know if she deserves it for this. And then from Roma, the one girl, I don't think it's kind of an odd pick. I think that some other people this year could have been in there more. However, I do think that Amy Adams for Vice is probably like the second most likely for them to pick for the Oscars. But I don't think the favorites will cancel each other out, and I don't think they will give it to Mariana Di Tavera. But, I think it's pretty much a lock for Regina King. So for Best Animated Film, I think this one is pretty much a lock for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's honestly, it probably should have been in the category for Best Movie of the Year. But I mean, there's a chance they might not award it because it's a comic book film. But I think honestly it transcends that. It's definitely the best animated movie of the year. And the other ones, none of them are that good. Like, I mean, Isle of the Dogs would be my second choice, but I think that's kind of middle of pack for them. And then Ralph Breaks the Internet was okay. And Incredibles 2, I personally didn't like. And Mirai was okay. But I think that if they're not going to go with Spider-Man, they're probably going to go with Pixar film, like with Incredibles 2. But I really didn't think it was that good. But, you might, I'll never know. Like, Isle of Dogs could sneak in, that's the middle pack, but I don't know. I don't think it would go to Mirai or Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think it's most likely to go into Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it should go to them. For directing, I think it's again a lock for Spike for BlacKkKlansmen. And again, that's partly a Lifetime Award, but it's a really well-directed film. And it's a great film, and I think that it would be a great moment for him to win. I think that's who I would pick, and I think that's who will win. I mean, it would be a shock if he doesn't win to me. And for second, I would probably pick Roma, and that's probably what I think they make if it had a chance at winning. It's because I'm sure a lot of fans, really big movie fans would love the craft in that film. And I think after that, maybe like The Favorite and Vice for 3 and 4 for who I would pick and who should. And then Cold War, I don't know. I don't think that has a chance, even though it's a well-directed film. I don't think it'll make it. And now for Best Picture, this is a very odd category this year because there is no front runner. Like, especially if you look at all the different ones that have won this year, there's no way to tell. There's no clear view because different ones have won each time, and none of them really are out front of the pack. And I don't know. There's so many different ways they could go, so it makes it really tough to pick. Like personally, I would have Black Panther as the winner because out of these films, it was my favorite movie of the year. And it's a very well crafted film, and it means a lot to the industry. Like to show that a film led by black actors and actresses could do so well at the box office. It's going to change the minds of the people with the money that can create these movies. And I think it also had a great moment because he gave a great speech at the Actors Guild Awards. And I think that it could be a great moment. And I think that I don't think that the Oscars will give it to him. I have them kind of in the middle of the pack at like number 5. I honestly don't think that a lot of the people that are probably voting for this, they kind of belittle the comic book films, the genre films. So I kind of doubt they will go for that. And I know there's been a lot of odd backlash with this film being nominated, but it's kind of so odd because it's really one of the first comic book films up for best film. And I think they would love it. And then people go, "Oh, there's a better movie that should have gotten it," and it's kind of just goofy. But I don't know. Some of it might be racist or just yeah, Black Panther doesn't have the best third act. Like the action and the fight scene isn't great, but then what comes after that, the ending and what comes from the fights toward the end are amazing, and it's such a well crafted film. I think it deserves to be up there. And for number 2, I think I would pick it would be BlacKkKlansmen, and that's another really good film. But I'm not sure if this had a chance to winning or not. I think BlacKkKlansmen and Black Panther are both the ones that are kind of, I think, might be in the middle of the pack, but could easily sneak in and win the whole thing. It's very tough to call. And for me, number 3 will probably be Green Book, and I think that might win. I have that at number 2 as chance of winning, and it's had a little bit of a backlash because how true the actual story is, because the story is being told by the family of the white guy, and the family of the black guy is like, that didn't happen. And on the scene, they're like, that they didn't talk to Mahershala Ali's character didn't talk to his family much, and who knows what the actual truth is? Probably somewhere in between. But I don't know if it deserves a win, but I think it might win. Roma is another one I'd have as number 4, and I'd have number 3 as what will win. But it has a chance of taking it all, but I don't know if they want to honor it that much because, again, they have more stuff because of the whole Netflix thing, and that if they want to have a big moment, I don't know how big a moment it'll be to have Roma there. But I think Netflix might have spent a lot of money trying to get people to vote for it. And my number 5 would be A Star Is Born. But I think that has the best chance of winning. I put that as number 1 for who I think will win. But it's not, it has a lot of the popularity, and it also has, a lot of the filming stuff, like film stuff. I think that could be a safe choice for the voters. That, I think, might win, but it's so close, it's very tough to tell. The Favorite is what I have as number 6, and I think that doesn't have a real chance to win either. I have it for 6 and what I would pick and what I think will win. And Vice, again, I have number 7 for what I would pick and what will win. And 8 is Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't even know how this movie is up for Best Film of the Year. You could say that Rami Malek did a good acting job, but for the actual film, it was pretty shit. Like it was really messy. It had a lot of stuff with the director being a child rapist. Like it's odd that it's up for Best Film. There are a lot of other better films that they could have recognized. So next, for cinematography, I think that it's pretty much a lock for Roma for what I would pick and what I think will win, because every scene in that movie is just gorgeous. And I mean, honestly, if you haven't seen Roma and you want to watch the Oscars and know why it's being nominated for so many things, if you can, go to Netflix and fast forward towards the end to the beach scene, and just watch the beach scene. I think that is probably the best scene in the movie this year, the most gorgeous scene, and I don't know how they did it. I love to see the behind the scenes footage of how they did the scene on the beach. But I think that will win, and it should win. And for the ones behind that, I'd probably put the Star is Born maybe as number 2, and I think the favorite as number 3 for the cinematography. Although for me personally, I thought it was kind of goofy. And then the Cold War is beautiful film, and then Never Look Away is one I couldn't find. That's the only one I really couldn't find. But yeah, I think it's definitely a lock for Roma there. For costume design, I would give it to Black Panther, but I think they're probably going to give it to The Favorite. I think, that the second chance for the Mary Queen of Scots and Battle Buster Scruggs at the bottom of there, and Mary Poppins I don't think will win either, but we'll see. I think that it's probably going to go with The Favorite, and their costumes were pretty cool in that movie. For film editing, I think that it will go to BlacKkKlansmen. That's what I would pick. I thought the editing in film was really well done, especially some of the scenes where the speakers and how they merge together, the person speaking, and then you see the people in the crowd listening, and how they edit those scenes, and how some of the scenes towards the climax where they have different things going on and they edit it all together is really beautifully done. And I think that the other chance, I think Vice would be my number 2, and then probably maybe The Favorite, and then Green Book, and then Bohemian Rhapsody. But Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know what the hell they're thinking putting that up for best editing. It's honestly, if you just take some of the scenes and just watch the editing, it is shit. Some of the worst editing of the year. With how the jump cuts and how things change, and things you don't see person there, then they're there the next time. It is horrible editing. I don't see how it could be nominated for best editing. It just shows you that they say, oh, what's another popular film this year? Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, so that best editing nomination. Okay. And it is shit. For best foreign language film, I think it's pretty much a lock for Roma. I think there's a good chance that they'll give the award for this and they won't give it for best picture. But I mean, other than that, I think Cold War has a good chance. And then Shoplifters, and I haven't seen the other two, but looking at the ratings for them, I probably got Capernaum, and then Never Look Away. For makeup and hairstyling, I give it to Mary Queen of Scots. It was really good makeup and crazy hair. And it's funny, I don't see why they don't also have The Favorite here. Other than that, the second maybe be Vice, which is so important, and then I'd give it to Border after that. For best original score, I'd give it to If Beale Street Could Talk. It is really a beautiful score, and it really gives a whole different tone to the movie. I think that would be my pick, and I think that's who should win. For number 2, I would pick Black Panther, and I think that does have a chance. That may be the one that they just kind of throw it to. Here, have that award. And number 3, I mean, Mary Poppins. I mean, that's, great music. And then probably BlacKkKlansmen, and then Isle of Dogs. And I like the Isle of Dogs. I probably don't think it'll win. And then for original song, I think it's pretty much a lock for Shallow from A Star Is Born. I mean, it's the most popular song, one of the most popular songs of last year. And it's a great song. And I think it'll probably win. And then for ones that might win, maybe number 2, the Mary Poppins song might take it. I really doubt it. And after that, I'll Fight, RBG, and then all the stars from Black Panther, and then when a cowboy gets burst of wings. I don't think that'll win. I'll probably put that last, even though it's not a horrible song. I don't think I'll win. For sound editing, I think I'd probably give it to A Quiet Place. But I mean, that is a great film. It's a shame it wasn't nominated anywhere else. But I think that, like, especially I think that she could have been for Best Supporting Actress instead of some of the ones they have in there. Like, it's odd that she wasn't even nominated, but she won some of the other stuff. But I think that that makes the whole film the sound editing. So I think that probably is a lock. But I mean, after that, I think First Man I would pick, and I think I have a chance to win. And then Bohemian Rhapsody, being a music movie, that you could probably put that up there. And then they edit in like the real songs. And after that, probably Roma, and then Black Panther. Then for sound mixing, I think it's probably a lock for like A Star Is Born, just because it's so reliant on it, and it does the way they mix, like they're actually performing, like it is really well crafted. And second would probably be Bohemian Rhapsody. Again, that's a really important part of the movie, and this is the stuff the film should have been nominated for, not Best Picture. And after that, maybe First Man. Again, the sound is very impressive in that film. And then Black Panther, and then Roma. And then for visual effects, I think that it should go to Avengers Infinity War. It looked amazing. I mean, Thanos, to have that a character all CGI and look so good, I think you have to give it to Avengers Infinity War. Like, I don't see how they couldn't give it to them. I mean, after that, maybe First Man, and then maybe like, I don't know, maybe like Solo, Ready Player One. I think Christopher Walken doesn't have a chance. I think that's clearly a lock for Avengers. If not, it's a robbery. For Best Adapted Screenplay, I would give it to BlacKkKlansmen, and I think it does have a chance, but I think they might go for A Star Is Born instead. And then Beale Street Could Talk has a good chance too. But I don't think it'll go to Can You Forgive Me or The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. But there's a chance, but I doubt it'll go to either of them. They're not that great, the screenplay-wise, for me. For Best Original Screenplay, I think it's probably a lock for Green Book. I think that may be one of the ones that they win. I mean, it is a good original screenplay, something different. I mean, it's not very different, but I think it's well crafted. I think it's well done. I think for favorite, probably number 2 for me, and for what I think will win. And then Roma, number 3. But I think it's almost like it's not that much actual screenplay there. Like, a lot of the actors didn't even know what they were getting into, really, until the day of, for a lot of stuff. It's so naturalistic. And after that, maybe like The Vice, and then First Reformed. I didn't really like First Reformed, but it's an interesting screenplay, but I don't think it'll win. For production design, I'd probably give it to The Favorite. It was a pretty amazing production. Like, all the different scenes, they're really well done. A lot of crazy sets that they had. And number 2, I would pick Black Panther, but I'm probably not going to give it to it. And I think, First Man has a good choice. That has probably the second chance that they could get to that. And then, like, Roma and Mary Poppins, they're kind of in the middle. I doubt they get it, but they could. For Best Documentary Feature Film, I would probably give it to Free Solo. Or, I mean, the biggest snub here that they didn't nominate the Mr. Rogers' Won't You Be My Neighbor documentary film, which is very odd because it's a popular film and also really well done. But they just didn't nominate it at all. So I think that the one that might probably win is Minding the Gap. And, I mean, RBG had a chance, but I kind of doubt. I think it'll either go to Minding the Gap or Free Solo. The craft of Free Solo is, I don't know how they filmed some of that. I just watched it recently, and I mean, it is beautiful and it's kind of thrilling. And I mean, I don't see how it must probably the hardest one to do would be that. But I mean, the others, I don't think they'll win. But I mean, it could go to Father of the Sons and Hale County, but I doubt that they're in the running at all, really. And then for documentary short subject, I hadn't seen any of them, but I looked at the IMDb, and the one that had the best rating was Period, End of Sentence. So that's why I picked to win it. And after that would be Black Sheep, and then Endgame, and then A Night at the Garden, and then Lifeboat. Lifeboat actually has a pretty bad IMDb rating, It's kind of funny that that was nominated. And then for animated short film, I mean, I think that Bale may win because it's a Pixar one, and it is well done. It's a little odd. I watched it when in the movie theater when it came on. Like some people behind me, like, "Oh, that's weird," and it is a little weird. But I think that has a good chance of winning. And other than that, again, I haven't seen them, but from looking at IMDb, I go like One Small Step, and then Little Afternoon, then Weekends, and then Animal Behavior. I couldn't even find on IMDb, so I don't know. And then after that, live action short film, which is the last category, unless I missed something. I don't think I did. But I think that for live action short film, looking at IMDb, I go with Skin to win. And then Fauve, and then Detainment, and then Marguerite, and then Mother. And Mother is, again, the one I couldn't even find on IMDb. But, so that's my Oscars 2019 ballot. Thanks for watching, if you actually watch all this. And we'll see you next time for a more regular film review. And hopefully this Oscar, I'm not sure what I'm looking. I'm not sure if I'm rooting for a complete shit show of the Oscars or like a really good show. I mean, I hope it's good, but it would be interesting if it's just crazy ridiculousness. But we'll see. Thanks for watching. You can check out the replay I'm ahead and subscribe to that Z over there. Thanks. This has been a Big Z video. Thanks for watching.